All right, everybody, it's over. That's right, the Trey Lance saga is over, and I think this is a big enough deal to talk about a little bit as a Seahawks fan, right? Like, this is one of the most monumental draft day trades ever made, and it has ended with not even a whimper. You can't even really call this a whimper. The guy played, what, 4 games for the Niners in his career? Yeah, I'd say that's pretty monumental. That's a monumental failure on the part of the San Francisco 49ers organization. So, per Adam Schefter a few minutes ago, it was made official. The San Francisco 49ers are trading Trey Lance to the Dallas Cowboys for what was initially defined as a mid-round pick. A few minutes later, we got from some other sources, including Tom Pelissero, fourth rounder. So the Cowboys are giving up a fourth round pick in the upcoming 2024 draft to get Trey Lance. So, honestly, at this point, that is better than I was expecting. It had gotten to the point where it was so obvious the Niners were going to trade Trey Lance, and it sure seemed like there wasn't a big market for him. There was a time when a lot of people were saying, oh, sixth round pick. They're not going to get anything for him. They're going to give him away, essentially. Fourth round pick is not giving him away. It's not good. It's definitely not good. It's a disaster all the way around, but at least it's an asset of some meaningful amount. You can definitely get a quality prospect with a fourth round pick. Sixth round pick, you're really just buying lottery tickets at that point, aren't you? So, anyway, it's over. Trey Lance, whatever he does going forward, it's not going to be for the 49ers. And at this point, maybe that seems kind of obvious. Maybe that was made pretty obvious a few days ago when the Niners announced that he was going to be their third string quarterback and that Darnold had won the backup job over him. But big picture, I'm thinking about this in terms of the big picture. Trey Lance was the one I was scared of, for sure. Trey Lance was the one I was scared of because he had an immense amount of talent. He still does. But I always kind of thought to myself, if Trey Lance and Kyle Shanahan can figure this thing out, we're in trouble because he is making it work with quarterbacks that are nowhere near as talented as Trey Lance. He is making it work with mediocre quarterbacks like Jimmy Garoppolo and Brock Purdy. And if Trey Lance can figure it out and bring his far superior talent to the table along with that, then the NFL is in trouble and Kyle Shanahan's going to be there for 40 years. Honestly, now, this may end up being the thing that cost Shanahan his job in San Fran long term. I'm not saying he's going to get fired right now, of course, that's silly, and I'm not saying he should be fired, but if he cannot find his quarterback, if Brock Purdy is not the guy, there's a scenario here where even though he is clearly a good coach and has had a lot of success, he does get moved on from. I think it's on the table, and I never would have said that as recently as a year ago. And by the way, that's not me saying I think they should do it because I think Kyle Shanahan's a phenomenal coach, but there's a scenario now where he never finds his quarterback. If Purdy isn't it, he's going to be in some hot water here. And John Lynch, he should be in hot water. He should be in hot water years ago, as far as I'm concerned. I don't think John Lynch is any good at his job, but yeah, this could end up being the first domino that falls that leads to Shanahan not having a multi-decade long career as the 49ers head coach. So there are a couple other considerations to be made here when talking about this trade. Obviously, you have the 49ers side of it. They get the pick, but the thing to keep in mind here is they don't really get any money. If you go to Trey Lance's Spotrac contract page, you can see that trading Trey Lance right now only offers up cap savings of $940,000, less than $1 million they save. So that's not really going to bridge the gap on a Bosa extension. So that is not really a consideration here. They did not make this trade to free up a bunch of cap space. The cap space they freed up is basically irrelevant. Now, in 2024, that's a little different. You save about half, a little less than half of the dead cap hit. So, assuming that this is indeed how it works, it's a post June 1st trade, which it literally is. They don't even have to designate it as such. It literally is after June 1st. Then they have 5.5 million dead next year, which, I mean, that beats having the 10, almost $11 million cap hit on his head going into the season with him. So next year, yeah, sure, it's made a non-trivial difference. That's over 5 million in savings. But for this year, if they're trying to bridge the gap with like I said, the Bosa extension, that's the big one, and Brandon Ayuk is also gonna eventually at some point want his money. Not really helping. But hey, better to have to pay him 5.5 next year than 11, I guess. If he's really not part of your plans, then so be it. So that's kind of the Niners side of things. The pick helps a little bit, but that's about all they're getting, other than the fact that they just get to flush. They get to flush it down and say, look, it's over. It was a disaster, but at least now it's over. But the Cowboys side is kind of interesting too. And I'm going to talk about this for just a couple minutes here. I know it doesn't really matter to us, but I find this to be kind of interesting because I thought for sure that Trey Lance was going to try to go to a team that would give him a chance to play within the next year. So maybe not this year, but the next year, like Minnesota, because obviously they're looking for an exit plan with Kirk Cousins. They're trying to find that exit strategy with Kirk. So I thought for sure that he would go to a place like that where you can sit for a year, we're going to coach you up, and then next year you're going to be possibly at least the guy. He goes to Dallas. You look at Dak Prescott's contract. I know Dak didn't play very well last year, and a lot of Cowboys fans hate him and are done with him, but you take a look at this contract. Obviously, you can't do anything this year, and they wouldn't try to do that anyway, but 2024, next year, Dak's dead cap hit is bigger than his cap hit, actual cap hit. Now, you can do post June 1st and split it across 2 years, but that is a massive amount of dead money to eat on a quarterback who is not terrible. I know Dak is made fun of a lot, and he didn't play well last year. He deserves a lot of it, but that is a lot of dead money to eat on a quarterback that is still, at the very least, starter quality. And whatever you think of Dak, I promise you, he is a top 32 quarterback in the league. I don't know where he fits in there, but he's definitely starter worthy. So, honestly, I'm kind of looking at it here, and I'm thinking to myself, Trey Lance going to the Cowboys, he's just going to be kind of stuck behind Dak for 2 years, minimum. And it's not the worst thing for him, given the fact that he hasn't exactly... I mean, you can't say that Trey Lance has done anything over the top to make himself look great over the last several years, but I thought for sure he was going to go a place where there was at least an opportunity. And in Dallas, I think he's 2 years away from an opportunity. But he's still young. He's still young. Still could maybe get on the horse in 2025 and be the guy who takes over for Dak, I guess. That's possible. And hey, I like Trey Lance in the draft. I still have a certain sense of respect for his ability. If his contract with the Cowboys expires in a couple years and they don't like what they see, they don't bring him back, I'm not against bringing him in and trying to see what's going on as a backup, and maybe he can be the heir apparent to Geno. I'm not against that at all. We already rehabbed Geno. We're trying to rehab Drew Lock. Trey Lance, honestly, probably more talented than both of them. I'm not saying he's better than them because he's not, but there's something there. I just don't know if it's ever going to come out. All right, so maybe the biggest draft day trade in NFL history. I know it wasn't technically a draft day trade, by the way, but the effect of the trade was felt on draft day pretty much exclusively, has ended in complete disaster. Let me know what you guys think down below. See you guys later. Go Hawks. Big news within the division. We knew this was coming, but it's still kind of weird to have it come like this. I'll see you guys on Twitch tonight. Gonna finish Death Stranding and then probably do more Baldur's Gate. Hope to see you guys there.